So what do you do when you have a great idea but no resources to actually build it? Um, this question was just emailed to me, and I've heard variants of it a few times, so I'm going to try to address it, or at least the way I would think about it. Basically, you have three options. One is to do nothing. That's the default. You hold it as a great idea, and eventually you see that someone else did it, and then you go, "Oh, that was my idea." So that's not hugely desirable. There's not much upside there. The second is to give it away. Um, you know, if there's a way that sharing this idea by talking about it, by offering it up, can advance your career, your credibility, can help you build an audience, build a brand, that might be useful. That's a way for you to gain from this idea without actually having to build it yourself. The third is to build it. Now, we've already established that you don't have the resources to do this easily. Even if it's a small idea, that can make it pretty tough if you can't program at all or you don't know programmers. So for building it, you've got essentially, well, you got a couple options. One is to learn to program. This is slow. You're looking at 3 to 6 months, before you can start building anything useful. But it's doable. It's probably not worth the time if this is the only app or project that you're worried about. However, if you're looking at entrepreneurship as a career, it may well be worth the time, because even if it doesn't pay off on this particular project, it will pay off eventually. Programming is really useful, even if you're taking it into another industry, real estate, accounting. One of my buddies is a journalist, and she has learned programming and data scraping, which now helps her be a much better journalist. She can gather data in a way that her peers cannot. So that's not a terrible idea, even though it will take a while. The second is to basically try to build momentum so that you can get other people excited to join you and help you out. This, I think, is the best option if you're really want to optimize for this particular product. If you need this company to succeed, it's all about the momentum. The best way to build momentum is through market traction. If you can get 50 people or even 10 people saying, "This is amazing, I would love to pay for this," if you had it, then it's a lot easier for you to decide yourself, hey, this is actually worth investing in. I should maybe hire a programmer. Or if you've got a friend who can program, but he's saying, oh, I'm so busy, I can't take on more projects. You can say, hey, look, I know this is going to pay off. This isn't just some pipe dream I have. I've talked to people. I've got the pre-orders. It's all set. We've got to do this. And then it's really exciting. It's already moving forward. It's easy to get involved in. Similarly, that's also the same thing that investors would like to see. They want to see that forward progress. Although without any code written, your investment isn't a particularly viable option, but just as a tangent. The third option, which I think is the worst, I think it's a real trap, and a lot of people go for it, is they start working on the product, getting lots of, instead of going and talking to customers and trying to move forward on the customer and the market side, they'll make wireframes, they'll make product mock-ups, they'll do designs, they'll do user flows. And if you can't actually build the product yourself and you don't want to pay people, I really think this is a bad idea. And that's because if you want someone to join your project for a piece of ownership, if it's something they're excited to do, and it's going to be fun, or they've got some equity and they think there might be upside, it might go well. The fun part for them, the fun part for a product guy, is deciding what the product's going to be. If you've done all that work already, then you're saying, hey, I got a great idea, just code it for me, and that's just not interesting. And so by developing the product yourself, you actually take away your potential partner's ability to feel ownership and to be proud and to feel like it's their own creation. So as someone who is not going to be able to build it yourself, and if you don't want to learn programming, I would really focus on the market and the customers and try to demonstrate progress in that way so that you can get someone else excited to come in and you say, I really don't know what the product's going to be exactly. I've got some ideas. What I do know is that people really have this problem, or this would make them really happy if they had it. Let's figure out what it is together. That's a much stronger kind of partner pitch. The other trap, I really wouldn't use freelancers, especially if you can't program. It's just very hard to manage them if you can't read and evaluate code. And for little stuff, it never ends up being as little as you think. So I think that leads to heartbreak. So in review, the kind of three options are to do nothing with it, which is a bad option, to give it away in using tactics or in some way which will benefit you, which will say, oh, like, yeah, Rob had that idea. It was great. He talked about it or he shared it, and now it's been built. And then the final one is to build it yourself, either by learning programming, which is slow, or by showing market pull and getting someone else excited, which is a bit faster. Oh, and before I go, if you have questions, hit me up on Twitter at RobFitz, and I will do my best to respond with one of these, and we will see if they're useful. Thanks.